What if that invisible cage holding you back, the one built from all those what ifs and I can'ts, could actually be dismantled, piece by piece, brick by brick? Seriously, we all talk about anxiety and fear. The stats are everywhere. But here's what those numbers don't tell you. How much unlived potential is buried beneath that fear? All those dreams delayed, all that joy postponed, all that authenticity hidden, just because of fear. Let's get real. When life feels stuck, when we don't know which direction to go, there's usually one culprit: fear. Not the dramatic kind, not fear of snakes or falling off a cliff, but the quiet, sneaky kind. The fear of failing, the fear of being judged, the fear of not being enough. And that fear, it whispers, stay small, stay comfortable, stay safe. But here's the thing, comfort zones don't grow people, they shrink them. Fear keeps us in that tiny room with padded walls, telling us it's protecting us. But really, it's limiting everything we're capable of becoming. Now imagine this. What if there were no labels? No boxes that said, this is who you are, this is who you're not. What if you could step outside every role you've ever played? Yes, we can identify with labels. Mother, artist, engineer, empath. But you are not that label. You're not your job. You're not your mistakes. You're not the version of you someone else decided was acceptable. When we become the label, we forget the infinite possibilities of who we can be. So why do we stay in the cage? Why do we let fear run the show? Because at some point, probably early on, we were taught that being rejected, failing, or even standing out was dangerous. And now, the fear sounds like this. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I disappoint them? But flip that around for a second. What if you succeed? What if you thrive? What if your life actually becomes everything you dreamed of? The fear of judgment? That's just misplaced power. You're giving others the authority to decide how you live. Why? They're not living your life. You are. Let's be clear. Today isn't just about understanding fear. It's about taking a wrecking ball to it. It starts with noticing where fear shows up in your daily life. Saying no when you want to say yes. Dimming your voice in conversations. Avoiding that one thing you know you're meant to do. Fear is the gatekeeper. But here's the secret. You hold the key. It begins with questioning the fear, not fighting it, but getting curious about it. Ask yourself, where did this fear begin? Whose voice is this in my head? Is this fear trying to protect me or limit me? Every time we hide a part of ourselves to fit in, we fragment. We split off pieces of our true self, until what's left is just a mask, polished, polite, and exhausted. But the more we welcome every part of us, the bold, the broken, the brilliant, the more whole we become. And that wholeness, that's where the magic is. That's where true freedom lives. So are you ready? Ready to learn from your fear, not run from it? Because fear, when faced, doesn't shrink you. It teaches you. It sharpens you. It reveals exactly where your power has been hiding. You were never meant to live in a cage. You were meant to fly. You know that feeling, right? That knot in your stomach, that shaky breath, that silent inner voice screaming, "Don't do it, stay safe." Maybe it happens before a big decision, or when you're about to speak your truth, or when you're standing at the edge of something new. That's fear. It's ancient, it's primal, and it's powerful. And while some fear keeps us alive, other fears, they're slowly keeping us from truly living. Fear is one of the most basic emotions we have, wired deep into our nervous system. The fear that stops you from walking into oncoming traffic, that's rational. That's your brain doing its job and doing it well. But then there's the other kind. The kind that tells you, don't speak up. What if they laugh? You'll probably fail. You're not ready. Who do you think you are? That fear isn't protecting you. It's paralyzing you. It doesn't roar. It whispers. And often that's more dangerous, because we start believing those whispers are the truth. Let me ask you something. How many opportunities have you let slip by because of fear? Maybe you didn't apply for that job. Maybe you didn't tell someone how you really felt. Maybe you never even started because fear convinced you you'd never finish. And it's not just about missing out on promotions or chances. It's deeper than that. Fear, when left unchecked, stunts your growth. It erodes your confidence. It shrinks your world. It convinces you to settle for a smaller version of yourself. You see, we're not just talking about fear in theory. We're talking about a force that literally restructures your life if you let it. And here's what many people overlook. Fear doesn't just live in your thoughts. It lives in your body. Chronic fear, anxiety, and worry can lead to insomnia, fatigue, digestive issues, muscle tension, headaches, even burnout. Your body remembers. It keeps score. And living under a cloud of constant what-ifs, that's not just emotionally draining. It's physically exhausting. You were never meant to live like this. You were built for joy, expansion, growth, not chronic contraction. But let's pause for a second. Let's be clear on something. Fear is not a flaw. It's not a weakness. It's not a sign you're broken. Fear is human. Every single person, no matter how confident they look, feels fear. The difference lies in the response. Some people let fear run their lives. Others learn how to read it, face it, and rise above it. And that's what this message is really about. Because when you realize that fear doesn't define you, you begin to reclaim your power. Here's why we must demolish fear. Not by force, but by understanding. Because every time fear says don't, it's holding you back from growth, from truth, from fulfillment, from purpose. The fear of failure, rejection, ridicule, shame. These are illusions. They're echoes of old stories, from childhood, from past experiences, from societal conditioning. Be quiet. Don't stand out. Don't mess up. Be good. And those voices become internalized until you can't tell whether it's you speaking or the fear speaking through you. But here's the truth. Those voices aren't the voice of your soul. They're the voices of protection, not purpose. And you can thank them, but you don't need to obey them anymore. Every transformation begins with a decision. A moment where you say, enough. I will not live small. I will not keep shrinking to be accepted, safe, or quiet. I choose to rise. When fear starts screaming, you get to whisper back, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me, but I've got this now. And then you take the first step, even if your voice trembles, even if your knees shake. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. So today, take inventory of the fears holding you back. Name them, face them, and little by little, begin to dismantle them. Remember, fear isn't the enemy. It's a doorway. It's showing you exactly where you're still hiding, exactly where your healing is needed, and exactly where your true potential is waiting. Demolishing fear doesn't happen overnight, but every time you face it, you reclaim a part of yourself. You become more whole, more real, more free. So, now that we've uncovered the shadow of fear, How do we break free from it? How do we shift from being controlled by fear to controlling it? How do we turn this powerful emotion from a roadblock into a launch pad? That's why you're here. And the answer begins now. Welcome to the Ultimate Fear Demolition Guide. This isn't a feel-good cliche like, just be brave, or fake it till you make it. We both know fear doesn't work that way. This guide is a structured, grounded, and practical framework designed to help you not just manage fear, but to demolish it from the roots up. Think of fear like a crumbling old structure sitting in the middle of your life, blocking your view, restricting your movement, and keeping you from building the life you actually want. Well, guess what? We're about to start a full-scale demolition project, step by step. First, you survey the site. Identify what's really going on beneath the surface. Where is the fear coming from? Whose voice is it really? Then, we bring in the specialized tools, techniques backed by psychology and spiritual wisdom. These tools don't mask fear. They weaken its grip. Finally, we clear the space, making room for something powerful to rise. A life rooted in authenticity, courage, and true freedom. Here's what we'll cover in the guide. Spotting and understanding your fears. We'll go inward to identify core fears, not just the symptoms, but the roots. This includes journaling prompts, guided reflection, and practical questions to help you decode the origin of your fear. Facing your fears bit by bit. This isn't about throwing yourself into the fire so as to speak. It's about controlled exposure, gradually facing what scares you in a way that's empowering, not overwhelming. Challenging negative thought loops. You'll learn to recognize fear-based stories and rewrite them in real time, so that your mind no longer runs on autopilot fear. Mastering mindfulness and relaxation techniques. From breathwork to grounding practices, you'll learn how to soothe your nervous system and calm the chaos. Building rock-solid resilience. Because courage isn't about never falling, it's about bouncing back, stronger every time. Developing a growth mindset. We'll shift your inner narrative so that fear becomes fuel for transformation, not a signal to retreat. Exploring deep healing modalities, including energy work, inner child healing, shadow integration, and subconscious reprogramming. By the end of this journey, you'll have a complete fear demolition toolkit to finally stop shrinking and start showing up as your bold, true self. Are you ready? Let's begin the demolition. Before you can demolish a building, you need to know how it's built, where the weak spots are, what supports it, and how deep the foundation runs. It's the same with fear. Before we break it down, we need to understand what it is, where it lives inside you, and how it's been shaping your life, often without your permission. This is your first and most crucial step. Identify and understand your fears. Let's be clear, this isn't about quick fixes or pretending you're not afraid. This is about honest self-reflection, real awareness, the kind that transforms everything. Start by becoming an observer of yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that show up when you feel anxious or resistant. Notice the physical sensations, the tightening in your chest, the butterflies, the urge to shrink or avoid. Ask yourself, what specific situations trigger these responses? Is it public speaking, making a big decision, being vulnerable, stepping into leadership? Take note, be specific, because vague fears are slippery and much harder to confront. This is where journaling becomes your best friend. Begin a fear audit. Write down every fear you're aware of. No filters, no judgment, just truth. For each fear, ask, what exact situation triggers this? What thoughts arise when this fear activates? What do I feel in my body? Racing heart, shaky hands, sweaty palms. How do I usually react? Do I avoid it, delay it, shut down? Then, go deeper. Because often the fear you name first, like fear of public speaking, isn't the root. It's the surface layer. The real fear might be fear of judgment, of not being enough, of being laughed at, or proving that nagging inner voice right. The one that says, you're not worthy. Ask yourself, what's the story I'm telling myself? What's the deeper belief driving this fear? Sometimes the origin lives in childhood. Maybe someone made you feel small, incapable, or ashamed. Maybe you learned to perform instead of express, to hide instead of be seen. Here's the truth. Those beliefs, they're not reflections of your worth. They're projections of someone else's pain, passed on to you. This is your chance to say, no more. You're not here to carry that burden forever. Also, take a moment to separate rational fear from irrational fear. Rational fear protects you from real harm, but irrational fears? They're distortions, shadows on the wall, and those are the ones we're here to clear. This part of the process isn't about judgment, it's about gathering intel. The more aware you are, the more power you hold to change everything. So take your time with this stage. Get honest, get curious, because once you see the fear clearly, you can begin to dismantle it completely. Now that you've begun to identify and understand your fears, you've done something powerful. You've turned on the light in the dark room. But insight alone doesn't change the pattern. You've got to take action. Not massive, overwhelming leaps, but small, intentional steps. This brings us to the next phase, gradual exposure. What psychologists call systematic desensitization, what we'll call the fear ladder. Think of your fear as a tall wall you want to climb. You don't start at the top. You begin at the first rung. Let's say you struggle with social anxiety. Your ladder might look like this. Step 1. Make eye contact and smile at a cashier. Step 2. Ask a stranger for simple directions. Step 3. Make small talk with a coworker. Step 4. Attend a small social gathering, just for 30 minutes. Step 5. Start a conversation at that gathering. Step 6. Go to a larger event and aim to talk to 3 new people. Each step is slightly more challenging than the last, but still manageable. You stay at each level until your anxiety noticeably drops. Then you move on. There's no rush. You're not proving anything to anyone. You're retraining your nervous system. You're showing your mind and body, this fear doesn't control me anymore. Every time you succeed, even a little, you rewrite the fear script. Instead of asking, what if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I can't handle it? Begin to ask, what if I succeed? What if this changes everything? What if the version of me I've dreamed of is finally within reach? Understand this. Our fear of rejection, shame, or failure often stems from giving others power over us. We seek their approval, even at the cost of our authenticity. But people will judge no matter what you do. So why sacrifice your dreams, your joy, or your purpose for someone else's comfort? Ask yourself honestly, what is it costing me to fit in? What part of myself have I silenced to be accepted? That silenced part can become a hidden, fragmented shadow, a part of you that longs to be free again. Exposure work helps you reclaim those pieces. Each time you act in spite of fear, you're integrating lost parts of yourself. You're becoming whole. And yes, anxiety may still show up. That's okay. The goal isn't to eliminate it instantly. The goal is to face it without retreating. To feel the fear and realize, I can do this anyway. Celebrate every win, no matter how small. These are your controlled demolitions. Each one brings you closer to the freedom on the other side. Fear, as powerful as it is, rarely shows up alone. It's usually accompanied by a gang of negative thoughts, quiet, automatic, often irrational, and they're skilled at sounding so believable that we never stop to question them. This is where we bring in one of the most powerful tools in your fear demolition guide, cognitive restructuring, straight from the principles of cognitive behavioral therapy. At its core, the idea is simple. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Change your thoughts, and everything else begins to shift. Let's start by spotting what are called negative automatic thoughts, or NATs. These are the instant, habitual thoughts that kick in when you feel fear. They're subtle, fast, and usually dramatic. From your earlier fear audit, you may have seen some of these. I'm going to fail. It'll be a disaster. That's catastrophizing. Everyone will think I'm a total idiot. That's mind reading or fortune telling. I always mess these things up. That's overgeneralizing. If I feel anxious, something bad is definitely about to happen. That's emotional reasoning. So how do we challenge these? Start with curiosity. Investigate the thought like a detective. What's the evidence for this thought? And against it? Am I treating this thought as a fact? Or is it just a feeling? What's the realistic worst-case scenario? And could I actually handle it? What would I say to a friend who thought this? Hint, you'd probably be more compassionate and balanced. Let's walk through an example. Original thought. I'll bomb this presentation. Everyone will think I'm useless. What is it evidence for? I feel nervous. But evidence against? I'm prepared. I've done this before. Most people don't judge as harshly as I fear. What's the balanced belief? Yes, I'm nervous, and that's normal. But I've put in the work. I'll do my best, and even if it's not perfect, it's a chance to learn and grow. See the shift? We're not forcing fake positivity. We're bringing the thought back to truth and balance. This process isn't a one-time fix. It's a daily practice, like training a new muscle. And alongside this thought-challenging work, bring in positive self-talk as the counterweight. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, try, I've handled hard things before. I can take this step, one moment at a time. These affirming thoughts become the new scaffolding for your mind. They reinforce confidence. They anchor courage. And most importantly, they disarm fear at its root, the mental story. So remember, thoughts are not facts. Fear is a storyteller, but you are the editor. When fear takes over, it doesn't just whisper in your mind. It roars through your body. Your heart races. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tense. You're launched into fight or flight mode, even if there's no real danger in sight. To truly demolish fear, we have to calm this internal chaos. And the tools to do that? Mindfulness and relaxation. Let's start with mindfulness. It's not about clearing your mind or escaping your thoughts. It's about being present, fully, intentionally present in this moment, without judgment. When fear strikes, your mind rushes to worst-case scenarios, but mindfulness gently brings you back. It helps you observe your fear without becoming it. Instead of thinking, I'm terrified, you begin to see, I'm noticing fear arise. This simple shift, observer instead of reactor, diminishes fear's grip. Try this, mindful breathing. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, or soften your gaze. Now, bring your full attention to the breath. Feel the air as it enters through your nose, fills your lungs, and leaves again. No need to change it. Just observe its natural rhythm. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Gently bring it back. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can rewire your nervous system to stay centered when fear appears. Now let's talk about calming the body. Fear manifests physically, so we meet it with physical relief. First tool, deep belly breathing. Fear triggers short, shallow chest breaths that worsen anxiety. Instead, breathe from your diaphragm. Place a hand on your stomach. Inhale slowly through your nose. Feel your belly expand. Exhale gently. Belly falls. Make the exhale just a little longer than the inhale. This sends a signal to your brain. You're safe. You're okay. Next, progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR. Start at your feet. Tense the muscles tightly. Hold for a few seconds. Then release. Move upward. Legs, stomach, chest, arms, shoulders, neck, face. Tense, then relax. This trains your awareness to spot where you're holding fear physically, then teaches your body to let go. These practices won't make fear vanish, but they'll transform your relationship with it. You'll face life's stressors not from panic, but from presence. Not from tension, but from calm. You'll think clearly, act wisely, and respond from strength, not reactivity. Picture your inner world like a burning room. Fear is the fire. Mindfulness and relaxation, they're the sprinkler system, dousing the flames, clearing the smoke, giving you space to breathe again. So remember, when fear floods your system, return to your breath, anchor in your body, and let calm become your foundation. Demolishing fear isn't just about tearing things down. It's about what we build in its place. And that's resilience. Unshakable resilience. Your personal fear-proof armor. Resilience is more than just toughing it out. It's the ability to bounce back after setbacks, to adapt when things get hard, and to keep showing up, even when fear tries to hold you down. Let's begin with physical resilience. You can't build emotional strength on a weak foundation. The body and mind are deeply connected, and your daily habits shape your ability to face fear. Movement is medicine. Regular exercise, whether it's walking, yoga, swimming, or lifting weights, releases endorphins that lift your mood, reduce anxiety, and lower stress hormones. And sleep? It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Aim for 7 to 9 hours a night. Without it, your stress tolerance drops and fear takes the wheel. Next, your nutrition. Fuel your body with balanced, whole foods. A healthy brain and stable energy come from nutrients, not sugar spikes and caffeine crashes. And don't forget hydration. It's a small habit with a massive impact. Then there's connection. You were never meant to face life alone. Build strong social bonds. Talk to trusted friends, family, or mentors. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone is the strongest shield of all. Now let's talk mental resilience, the deep-rooted strength that lets you act with courage in the face of fear. One way to build it? Face small fears regularly. Every time you step through discomfort, even in little ways, you stretch your tolerance. You prove to yourself, I can handle this. That success becomes your new baseline. Confidence grows. Another key? Challenge your inner critic. We've already discussed thought patterns, but resilience also comes from reframing failures as lessons. Not everything has to go perfectly. You learn, you adjust, you keep moving. And here's something powerful. Reflect on your past challenges. What have you already survived? What tools did you use to get through tough times? There's wisdom there. Use it. Let your past resilience fuel your present courage. Remember, resilience doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you feel it, and move anyway. You take the leap, you stumble, you rise, you fall again, you rise again. Because now you know you're capable of healing, of adapting, of thriving. And as you keep showing up with authenticity, something amazing happens. You stop needing to fit in. You begin to stand out, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And that authenticity, that's what makes your voice, your journey, your impact irreplaceable. Resilience is your armor. It's not forged overnight, but every mindful choice, every act of self-care, every time you speak kindly to yourself, that's you building strength. And with that strength, fear doesn't stand a chance. If fear has a kryptonite, it's this: a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, skills, and intelligence can be developed, not fixed, not set in stone, but flexible and expandable through effort, learning, and persistence. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, where people believe talent is static and failure is a verdict on their worth. In a fixed mindset, every challenge is a threat. Every setback feels like proof you're not good enough. But with a growth mindset, failure becomes feedback. Mistakes become messages. And fear? Fear loses its grip. Because now you're not afraid to fall. You know you'll get up stronger. Here's the truth. Human potential is limitless, but it's often caged by limiting beliefs. Think of it this way. If your soul is an ocean, a single ripple can create waves of transformation. But if you trap that ocean in a small container, it can barely move. Your beliefs are that container. If you've been told you're not enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, it's time to question those stories. Not because you need to prove anything to others, but because your true self deserves to be unleashed. Working on your mindset raises your vibration, and as your vibration rises, you become a magnet, attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that match your new frequency. This is how manifestation works, not from wishing, but from alignment, effort, and belief. People with a fixed mindset avoid failure. They see it as shameful. But people with a growth mindset welcome it, because every stumble brings wisdom. They ask, "What can I learn? What can I try differently?" Here's how to cultivate this mindset in your daily life. Embrace imperfection. Mistakes are not flaws, they're stepping stones. Ask, "What's the lesson here?" Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Don't just chase the result. Value the effort, the creativity, and the persistence it takes to grow. Seek challenges. Stretch yourself. That's where transformation lives, outside your comfort zone. Take feedback as a gift. Don't fear criticism. Use it. Learn. Adjust. Improve. Celebrate others' success. Instead of comparing, get inspired. If they can do it, so can you. Also, set clear, measurable goals. Vague fear gets replaced by specific action. Visualize your success. See it, feel it, believe it. Your brain begins to accept it as possible, and fear weakens. A growth mindset doesn't erase fear, it redefines it. Fear becomes your compass, not your cage. It points you toward what matters most: growth, freedom, expansion. When you infuse your goals with passion, work stops feeling like a chore and starts to feel like play, like flow, like purpose. So next time fear whispers, "What if I fail?" you'll answer, "What if I grow?" And that changes everything. Now you have a blueprint, an entire toolkit for transforming your relationship with fear. You've learned how to identify and understand it, how to face it step by step, how to shift the thoughts that feed it, how to calm the storm within, how to build unshakable resilience, and how to nurture a mindset that thrives on growth. But the most important tool of all is you. You are the engine of this transformation. These strategies, while powerful, are just maps. You are the traveler. You are the one with the power to take the first step, to keep going, even when it's hard. And here's the truth that fear never wants you to realize. You already have what it takes. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means walking forward while fear walks beside you and choosing action anyway. You see, fear often disguises itself as protection, but really, it's a gatekeeper, trying to keep you from change, from growth, from greatness. And every time you choose courage over comfort, even in the smallest ways, you chip away at that wall. You carve out space for something new to grow. This journey of fear demolition is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you truly are, beneath the conditioning, the self-doubt, the inner critic. It's about becoming more you than you've ever allowed yourself to be. So when the fear feels too loud, when doubts creep in and whisper, "What's the point?" Pause, breathe, and remember, you've already started. You've already proven that your desire to grow is stronger than your fear of staying stuck. Think of the life that's waiting on the other side of fear, a life where decisions are made not from anxiety, but from intuition. A life where you say yes to opportunity, even if your voice trembles. A life where you speak your truth without apology, pursue dreams that once felt too big, and stand tall in rooms you once feared walking into. That life is not a fantasy. It's a real possibility, and it begins right now, with your choice to believe in your power. Every fear you face, every thought you challenge, every deep breath you take in the face of discomfort. These are bricks laid in the foundation of your freedom. You are worthy of your time. You are worthy of your energy. You are worthy of healing, growth, and everything you dream of. So take this journey seriously, but take it kindly too. Progress is not linear. There will be pauses, setbacks, surges forward. That's okay. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the most powerful part? You're doing it. You're already on your way. To truly demolish fear at its root, we must go deeper, beyond surface triggers, beyond conscious thoughts, into the vast realm of the subconscious mind. This is where the deepest patterns live. This is where the hidden beliefs form that quietly shape your decisions, reactions, and self-perception. And often, it is here that fear is born and silently sustained. You see, life itself is designed for growth and expansion, from a single cell to the entire cosmos. When something restricts that natural flow, be it fear, self-doubt, shame, or guilt, it usually isn't just in your head. It's rooted in an old belief, a subconscious imprint. Some of these limiting beliefs were inherited, passed down from family, society, or early environments. Others were formed through painful experiences, like rejection, criticism, neglect, or abandonment. Maybe it was being told you were too loud, too sensitive, not enough, or simply wrong for being exactly who you are. These moments create a blueprint in your mind. Stories like, "I'm not lovable," "I have to earn my worth," "Success is unsafe," "People will leave if I show my real self," and on and on. But here's the truth. You are not your wounds. You are not the story you were taught. You are the author now. To heal these limiting beliefs, begin with deep awareness. Ask yourself, what belief am I holding that keeps this fear alive? Where might this have come from? Whose voice is this in my head? And is it really mine, You might also explore the archetype currently active in your psyche. Are you expressing the wounded child, the people pleaser, the perfectionist, the abandoned one, the overachiever? Each archetype carries a lesson and a key to healing. Some of these patterns may even carry the energy of past lives or ancestral wounds. You don't have to believe in past lives for this to be meaningful. Just recognize that some fears feel deeper than logic can explain. Honor them. They are pointing you toward liberation. Inner child work, shadow integration, guided hypnosis, or subconscious journaling are all powerful tools in this space. You can also use affirmations crafted for your core wound. For example, if your belief is, "I'm not safe to be seen," you might affirm, "I am safe to express myself. My presence matters." But remember, this is not about forcing positivity. It's about meeting every part of yourself with compassion, seeing the pain, hearing the fear, and loving yourself through it. Healing the subconscious isn't instant, but every belief you bring to light, every time you choose truth over fear, every time you reclaim your worth, you loosen the chains, you break the box, you become more whole. And in that wholeness, fear loses its grip, because you no longer see yourself as broken. You begin to remember who you truly are. And that is freedom. Fear doesn't just live in the mind. It lodges itself in the body, in the nervous system, in our energy field, in the subtle layers of memory and belief that form the background hum of how we live. To truly release fear, and not just manage it, we must approach it holistically, working with the mental, emotional, energetic, and psychological layers together. Like tuning an instrument, each part of your being needs to be brought back into harmony. Here are 5 powerful pathways to help you do exactly that. 1. Journaling. Clear the mind. Soothe the heart. The simple act of putting pen to paper can be deeply transformational. When you write freely, without censorship or judgment, you allow subconscious fears and looping thoughts to rise to the surface and be acknowledged. Start a daily fear journal. Write down what you're feeling, what triggered it, what it reminds you of, and what you need in that moment. Name the emotion. Let it breathe. By seeing your thoughts on paper, they often lose their grip, and you gain clarity, insight, and peace. 2. Energy healing. Releasing what you can't see. Sometimes fear doesn't begin in the mind. It's stored in the energetic body. You might feel heavy, anxious, or off-center, even if everything seems fine. That's where energy healing comes in. Modalities like Reiki, sound healing, chakra balancing, or light language activations can help clear blockages, release stagnant emotional residue, and restore flow. Even guided meditations with binaural music or simply grounding barefoot in nature can energetically reset your system. 3. Therapy or counseling. Deep psychological integration. There's immense courage in seeking help. Whether it's a licensed therapist, trauma-informed coach, or spiritual counselor, having someone guide you through deeper emotional wounds, especially those rooted in childhood or past trauma, can bring profound healing. Therapy helps you recognize patterns, release suppressed pain, and reclaim your inner power. The key? Find someone who resonates with you. You deserve to be fully seen, heard, and supported. 4. Affirmations. Rewire the narrative. Your inner dialogue is the lens through which you experience life. If fear has written your mental script, affirmations help you rewrite it. Use powerful statements like, "I am safe in my body." "I choose courage over comfort." I release fear and trust the process of life. Write them, say them aloud, record, and listen to them. With repetition, they begin to reprogram the subconscious and shift your emotional baseline toward trust, confidence, and peace. 5. Community. Healing through connection. You were never meant to do this alone. Healing happens faster, deeper, and more joyfully in safe, aligned community. Surround yourself with those who inspire you, who remind you of your light when you forget. Whether it's a local support group, an online spiritual circle, or a few close soul-aligned friends, connection dissolves fear's illusion of separation. Being truly seen, heard, and accepted helps you grow roots of confidence and wings of expansion. Fear fades where love, presence, and support grow. These 5 holistic tools help you reclaim your wholeness. One breath, one step, one choice at a time. Fear is a natural part of being human. It signals danger, invites caution, and at times keeps us safe. But fear is not meant to run your life. You now hold a roadmap, a toolkit forged from self-awareness, emotional mastery, deep healing, and conscious growth. You've explored the layers of fear, learned how to face it in manageable steps, challenged its lies, soothed your nervous system, built resilience, and adopted a growth mindset that transforms setbacks into stepping stones. But remember this, overcoming fear is not a one-time fix. It's a lifelong path, a sacred journey of showing up for yourself, again and again, with courage, compassion, and clarity. There will be moments when the fear creeps back in, moments when the old beliefs feel louder than your truth. That's okay. Healing is not linear. Be mindful of the trap of instant results, the kind of deep transformation you're working on, healing the shadow self, nurturing the inner child, rewiring subconscious beliefs from years or even lifetimes past. It takes immense bravery and a tender, patient heart. Healing requires you to sit with discomfort, to walk into the quiet, shadowy corners of your soul and say, I see you. I'm not afraid anymore. I choose love. I choose freedom. Just like a flower cannot be forced to bloom, you too must trust divine timing. Your job is to nurture the soil, give yourself grace, rest when needed, celebrate the small wins, water your growth with loving presence. Let your unfolding be gentle. Let it be real. There is a life waiting for you beyond fear, a life where your dreams lead, where your voice is heard, where you wake up excited and sleep peacefully. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've chosen to live authentically. And one day, when you reflect back on your journey, you won't be haunted by what-ifs. You'll smile with a heart full of peace, knowing you said yes to life, yes to healing, yes to truth, yes to joy. So take a breath. Take that first step. You don't have to be fearless to begin. You just have to be willing. Stop fearing. Start demolishing. Start living. Because the power to transform your life was never outside of you. It's been within you all along. Here's the truth. Information without action is just information. Transformation begins the moment you apply what you've learned. So here's your first step. Simple, doable, powerful. Choose one strategy we talked about today. Just one. Maybe it's starting a fear journal, or taking that first tiny step on your fear ladder. Maybe you'll challenge a negative thought this week, or try a grounding breath or affirmation, or reach out for support in a community that gets you. Whatever it is, pick it, commit to it, take action this week. Because small steps taken consistently create unstoppable momentum. That's how change happens. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What strategy resonated most with you? Which fear are you ready to start dismantling? Your courage might just be the nudge someone else needs to begin their journey too. If this guide inspired you, helped you, or gave you clarity, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more empowering content and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new release. Share this video with someone who needs to hear, you are stronger than your fear. Remember, you are not broken, you are becoming. Let's keep rising together.